Welcome to Fino Concept. Click the subscribe button and hit the bell icon so you don't miss out on any of our future videos. What's up guys, this is Theo from Fino Concept, and today we are going to create an awesome shapes gallery in Adobe Photoshop. Whew. Sorry guys, I couldn't come up with a better name. Anyway, let's launch our application. So this is Photoshop. Click on new. I basically want to use this as my WhatsApp display pic, so I'm going to leave the width and the height the same pixel. Okay, hit on create. Now the first thing we are going to do is create our shapes, then we are going to put our images on top. So let's just start with our first shape, which is a circle. So grab your ellipse tool, click, make sure the width and the height is the same for a perfect circle. Now with the move tool selected, let's click and drag whilst holding down shift and alt. Okay, so about here is cool. The image is white on a white background, so let's just change the color by double clicking on this thumbnail and probably set it to red, because I like red. Now to make this centered at the center, or just centered, hold down Ctrl and press R. Now you can click and drag from here the rulers. The moment you get to the center, it's going to snap in. Click and drag from this portion as well, going to snap in. But if you're using the latest version of Photoshop, you get these purple grid lines, so you wouldn't have to bother with this. Anyway, so our ellipse is created. Now the next thing is for us to create our squares. So grab the rectangle tool, click, make sure the width and the height is the same, so 100 by 100. You could change it, but make sure they are the same. This is red, let's change it to probably black so we see what you're doing. Now with the move tool selected and whilst holding down shift and alt, let's click and drag over here and move this to this portion. Now whilst holding down just the alt key, let's click and drag this over here. Make it slightly bigger than the circle, but that's totally dependent on you. You can make it the same size whatsoever. Anyway, now let's duplicate the rectangle. So holding down Ctrl, press J, or just click and drag onto the new layer and we have a duplicate. Now let's move this over to this side and voila, we have these shapes on top. For our last image or our last shape, we are going to use the polygon tool. We want a hexagon, so make sure your size is set to 6. Okay, now just click and drag from any portion. Probably here is okay, and white is our color, so I'll move this to the center and we are good. Probably resize this a little bit. So let's just import our images now. For this tutorial, I'm going to use images we've created in our previous videos. So we have Dawn of the Shark, Lost at Sea, or anyone, Turtle Island, Shark Attack, Naranja Peak. Okay, how many images do you need? 5. Okay, let's click and drag into Adobe Photoshop. For the meantime, let's not concern ourselves with the shapes, so just comment OK on all of them. Now let's hide all of these images and take them one at a time. So our first image is Naranja Peak. Let's put it on top of our ellipse. Okay, now let's move it and make it slightly bigger than the ellipse. Okay, right about here is cool. Now there are two ways of doing this. Okay, 2 ways I know. The first one, we can hold down Ctrl and click on this thumbnail. You notice that you get this auto select or whatever icon. So holding down control, we click on the image or the shape. Now with our layer selected, the layer we want to alter selected, click on add layer mask. So add layer mask. Now if we try to move this, you notice this is what we get because the layer mask and the image are merged together. So to undo that, click on this icon right here to separate them. Now with the image selected, not the layer mask, the image selected, you can move the image around without it actually affecting the marks we've created. So I think right about here is just perfect. Now our next image is shark attack. Let's click and drag that on top of our ellipse shape right here. Adjust the size whilst holding down shift, obviously. Oops. Holding down shift. Okay, about this big is cool. Comment okay. Now the second way is just you right click, create clipping mask. This is basically going to do the same thing. So with this image selected, we can just move this about without it affecting our image. So I think this is much simpler and faster, so I'll be working with this. Anyway, for our two shapes, let's highlight our next image, Turtle Island. We are going to put it on top of our rectangle or our perfect square. Increase the size to be slightly bigger than that. Right click, create clipping mask. Okay, so let's adjust this accordingly, and the same for our next image. Click and drag on top of the shape, move this here. You know what, let's go with the old way. So holding down control, click on the thumbnail to create a selection, move back to your image, create a layer mask, make sure this is unchecked, and with the image selected, not the layer mask, increase the size and adjust it the way you want. Okay, so I think we are done. Now let me hit OK. Now for our last image, before that, for our polygon right here, I'm going to add in a few shadow, probably just one drop shadow. So effects, drop shadow, and my drop shadow settings, we have the opacity set to 40, angle 90 degrees, distance 25, spread 15, and the size being 50. Now hit OK. But that's totally my preference. You can change yours, obviously. So for our last image, right click, create clipping mask, and voila, we are done. But for this particular image, we are not going to, or this particular tutorial, we are not going to be using an image. I prefer to use our logo instead. So back to File Explorer, we have our logo here, so I'll click and drag that into Adobe Photoshop, then resize this to about this size. Okay, then hit OK, and we are done. One more thing, you can select this entire image, hold down Ctrl and press J to duplicate, then merge these images all together. Or that's the long way, or you can select this entire images, hold down Ctrl, hold down Alt and press E on your keyboard. Okay, that's basically the same thing. So for our layer or our merge images, let's increase the size to about this big. Okay, and I'm going to add in a few blurs. So filter, blur, Gaussian blur, I'll set mine to 5 pixel, hit OK. This is nice and all, but it's much better if you have the back image set to black and white. So you can do this by going to your adjustment layer, hue or saturation, and reduce this to -100. Or you can just go to adjustment layer, select black and white. That's basically going to do the same thing. Okay, so we are done, and I think this looks awesome. But before that, let's merge these two images or layers and reduce the opacity to about 20%. Now we are done. So thank you guys for watching this video. If you liked it, please give it a thumbs up, like this video. If you want to see more of this video, make sure you subscribe to our channel, and as always, don't forget to share with your friends and family on social media platforms. And I'll see you guys in the next one.